Matt Wilton. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the last webinar of this year, 2023. Had a great year on the McGuire Programme. It's been really good to have a full year of doing in-person courses rather than the old having to rely on the hybrid version or the online version, which we had to do, obviously, over COVID. And it's nice that numbers are starting to build back up again, both for people joining for the first time and for the graduates that are attending the courses for support throughout the year. So I've got two people with me today. I've got Lakesh Mahajan and Amy Redette. And Lakesh and Amy are two of the three people that are going to be involved in organising and running the next and the first McGuire course in the UK of 2024, which will be in Bristol at the end of February, the 28th of February to the 2nd of March. So I'm going to be asking them a few questions. We've been thrown into this a little bit, so I'm not sure what they think they're going to be expecting. But it is true, so why not put people on the spot a little bit? But Lakesh and Amy, nice to see you both, and thank you for coming tonight. Lakesh, how are you and where are you?
Matt, so I'm in a restaurant in Hatch End, and pleasure to be here. Amy, how about you?
Amy Redette. So yeah, just at home. I live in Sandhurst in Berkshire.
Brilliant. So nice to have you both on. And I suppose the first thing to say is, I mean, I've been on the programme, the McGuire Programme, a long time, since 1998. And I know that quite a few of you that might be watching now have already spoken to me, and I've told you a bit about the history and my background of what it was like for me before I joined the programme. It'd be nice for you to find out a little bit about Lakesh and Amy. So we'll start with Amy this time. So Amy, can you please tell everybody what your speech was like before you joined, really, and was there any particular reason why you decided to do the McGuire Programme?
Yeah. So my stammer before the course impacted every area of my life. Everything that you can imagine, it impacted. It really influenced every decision that I made in my life. I felt really trapped. I couldn't say what I wanted to say. I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I would hold myself back from any sort of social situations or anything with my career as well. I didn't think that I could amount to anything because I couldn't speak. And who are you really if you can't say who you are? And that's why I came on the course. It was definitely, my stammer impacted me physically, obviously with physical speech, but for me, the real impact was psychologically, in terms of me feeling like I wasn't anywhere close to the person that I wanted to be. I think what made me join the course as well was that really strong sense of isolation. As someone who stammers, mostly we don't really know a lot of people who stammer unless you're involved in a community already. And that's something that over time can really eat away at your mental health over time. So that's why I joined the programme. Matt, would you like me to talk about where I am now or not quite yet?
No, we'll come on to that in a second. Just
Okay.
Lakesh, a bit of background from you as well. That would be great.
Lakesh Mahajan speaking. Always start with our names because that used to be really difficult to say. So I joined the programme 10 years back, and it was during my last couple of years of university where I did an internship. I'm really career driven and always been thinking about like what's going to be the job that I get after university. And I couldn't say a word during that internship, which really made me think about okay, if I don't do something about my stutter now, then it's going to impact my life going forward. And having joined the program, what it's given me is the confidence and the control with my speech. I now work as a consultant where I've got to speak all day, every day, and I can truly say that I couldn't do that job without the tools and techniques and also the support that the program has given me.
So moving on to the course itself, I mean, we all have footage recorded of what our speech was like before we learnt these McGuire techniques. We've all got a video of us speaking without any McGuire techniques to help us. How was your first day, your video that you did, Amy, before the course, and how did you find the course when you were attending your first one?
So the first day video on that Wednesday night, I really don't think there could be anything more scary than that. When you have a stammer, that is being asked to kind of face it head on. And I found that situation so daunting and so incredibly scary. And I remember sitting there thinking about how I was going to answer every single question. It's like, as a person who stammers, your mind just works in overload all the time and you're all consumed by your stammer, and it's constantly in the back of your head at all times. I think the course, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think what you notice is that with every hour you get stronger. With every hour you're learning something new about not just the material on the course but yourself as well, and realizing how strong you are. So yeah, the course was just absolutely life-changing for me. What I loved the most was learning about the psychological side of stammering on the Friday and how those tools and techniques could help us with our support, sense of isolation, all of that good stuff.
Brilliant, thank you. And Lukesh, same about you. What was your video like, and how did you find your first course?
It's interesting because you're chucked straight into it, deep end. You have to do this interview to a big audience, and I was definitely really nervous. But as Amy touched on there, it's the start of the journey and it just gets easier and easier. And what's really nice is I've now got that video I can look back on to get that motivation. And the course is brilliant. You constantly challenge yourself, but you're going to get the support all the way through. All of us have a stutter. All of us have taken all the steps that you're going to take on the course. And yeah, it's great to actually look back on it, all of it now.
My stammer before the course was very severe. Matt, really severe. I was definitely a failed covert. I would try and hide it as much as I could, but it was right in front of you as soon as I started speaking. And I just want to say something. If you're listening to this and you have a stammer, honestly, you are made of some strong stuff. And you already have been through things that most people in life never have to deal with. Most people never have to deal with the sense of feeling so caged, feeling like you can't say what you want to say, feeling like your mind's in overdrive all the time. So you're made of some strong stuff, and you're already so brave, even having not come on the McGuire Programme or not had any therapy, wherever you are in your journey. But just know there is help here, and you don't have to live the way that you've been living. And yeah, we're here to support you and help.
I think a couple of things that people that are watching might want answered, and questions that I get asked quite a lot. First of all, the question of the fact that there's some people out there that are very severe and that probably really struggle to say any words and sounds. It's quite hard for them to believe watching this that, I mean, you will show your videos if they attend the course, they will see your first day videos, and they might even see it before in the next webinar. But it's quite a big thing for people that are quite severe watching this, hearing you two and me speaking quite well, speaking without any blocks, speaking without any tension, feeling so relaxed. Doing a live webinar is quite a big thing for some people. And also, my second thought as well is for people that are not sure whether or not this is for them because is their stammer severe enough?
Yeah.
I mean, do they really feel they need to attend the course? Because there's some situations. I get a lot of people that contact me when they're going through lows in life, when they're going through situations where they're really struggling. But then within a few months or weeks or days or hours, they're back to speaking quite well again. So they're, okay, I don't need nothing. I'll keep surviving, whether it's using tricks or avoidances, those sorts of things. And it's whether or not those people, it's about how we can get that across to them that this can also help them. Any thoughts
definitely.
on this, Lakesh?
If I just jump in there, because I had bouts of overt, which is the noticeable stutter, but also covert speech, where actually I could hide it pretty well. I could change words, I could use tricks, and people wouldn't notice. But that took so much energy. I was constantly thinking, I would be tired after. I couldn't just do something like jump into a restaurant and do a live webinar without even having to think about it. That I can do it now. I've got people walking past, and it's just that feeling of control, of not having to constantly think about words, think about tricks. Amy, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think, Matt, to that question, I think I would say, if you're someone who's contemplating this, if you're someone who's thinking about this, then your stammer is a problem for your life. If you're contemplating it and thinking, I might need help with this, you don't want to live your life just getting by every day or just surviving. You deserve to have a life that you're actually thriving and you're actually really proud to be who you are. You deserve to live a life where you can pick up the phone confidently. You deserve to be able to go into social situations and feel like you can introduce yourself. You deserve to have the career that you want. You deserve that. And only you can give that to yourself. No one else. So yeah, I'd say if you're contemplating it, then the likelihood is that it's definitely the right thing for you, or just even to become more curious about it, or have a couple of more conversations with Matt and see how you feel. But if your speech is something that's impacting you every day, every 2 days, every week, you deserve a life that is not dictated. Like, you deserve a life that isn't just based around you having a stammer. And that's not just how it impacts you physically with speech, it's how it impacts you mentally as well. So yeah.
That's great. That's great. And just been writing down a few things here, a few thoughts on how I felt when I did my first course. And that was back in 1998, so a long time now. But have you two got any thoughts on, first of all, how they're going to feel having to attend the course when there's a lot of people there? and everybody's got a stammer. Everybody comes from a different direction, background, race, religion, whatever, but we're all attend the McGuire course for one thing, to work on their speech. And also things that really worried me, that I was really confused about, was really having to speak really slow at the start, and I so wanted to speak quickly because that's all I wanted to do as someone that was covert. And also I didn't want to sound robotic. I wanted to not have to go one step backwards to then go two steps forward at the time. It's quite a big thing to think in your head, you know. And so there was also words and sounds that I had to really start saying that I'd hidden quite well in the past, like B's and D's and G's, where I really avoided. And I had to start saying them, which had an impact on my speech at the beginning of the course. You know, so there's a few things there. The fact that it was so intensive as well. It is an intensive course. But how did you find some of those things in your head when you had to do the course, Lukesh?
Yeah, it definitely isn't easy, and no one's going to promise you a chilled out ride. But there's method to all of the madness, right? First of all, it's intensive because we speak all day, every day, and it's got to be intense in order to really teach you all of the techniques. Then, in terms of the large number of people who are going to be there, that's really daunting at first. But after I realized that all of those people have a stutter and have done exactly the same things I've done too, I was like, I feel. Amy?
I think we just lost you for a second there. You're right. So
No problem.
yeah, I think just with the course and meeting everyone, actually you gain so much more than just speech therapy. What you gain is a whole community of people that you're going to be able to call anytime, and you're going to be able to share experiences with, share ideas with. And actually it seems really daunting in the moment, but actually when you get there, something that you get used to really quickly. So yeah.
And just coming back to the point about sometimes feeling you've got to take a step back because we're going to teach you a mechanical technique. You can't run before you walk, right? And what we're doing is really setting the foundations for speech, because then that's going to allow you to get to a more eloquent type speech.
Yeah, and also just to add to that as well, we as people who stammer, we actually have a gift, and what that is that we've realised the importance of our voice. So now the people on the programme, we actually go a step above and we use it as much as we can. And actually what I try and tell myself when I'm having to work hard, or I'm having to get myself back to basics, and I'm having to basically, use the technique a bit slower and pace myself a bit more, I always ask myself, what price am I willing to pay in order to be able to say what I want to say and do what I want to do? Because for me personally, there's no price that's too high for that. It's important that I can be the person that I am, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be able to make that happen.
Brilliant. Well, and next thing, just to ask you both your opinions on, is it's Christmas coming up soon, and you're going to be out of your routine. And I want you to just have a think and tell the viewers a little bit about what it was like for you before the McGuire programme, when you had a big event coming up for something like Christmas. I know for me, it was quite a scary time because I was out more, supposed to be socialising more, so probably avoiding more as much as I could. There was situations where I had to perhaps buy drinks for people or order food or
Yeah.
socialise with people that I hadn't seen for a while, family or friends. And that had quite an impact on me because it was, it was a tough old time. So any thoughts on what it was like for you before McGuire in those sort of situations that I'm sure people might be dreading coming up for them? Anyone? Mukesh? Anyone?
Lokesh?
I think the biggest thing for me about Christmas before joining the program was that I just couldn't have a good time because I
Yeah.
was always thinking about speech. I've got a big family with lots of cousins and uncles, aunties, and they all speak so bloody fast. So if I was ever going to speak during our Christmas lunches, I knew that it'd be a struggle and I'd be nervous building up to it, struggle during the actual speaking part, and then feel really bad after it. And then Christmas Day or the lunches we did would then be ruined. And now I'm actually looking forward to that, which I think is the biggest thing. Amy?
Yeah. And I think carrying on from what you were saying, I think stammering can turn an extrovert into an introvert real quickly. And actually, that starts to impact our personalities and actually who we are. So for me, building up to the Christmas period or any sort of event, whether it was like a birthday or a wedding or Christmas, whatever it was, the lead up to it would make me so anxious that I sometimes would just avoid it completely. There were times at Christmas where I would take myself up to my room because I'm serious, because I needed half an hour because it was so anxiety provoking for me to be in that situation where I'm speaking all the time or answering questions from family members I haven't seen in a while. And as Lokesh said, it's not just during, but it's afterwards when you're actually feeling really rubbish about yourself because you're like, actually, I didn't show my true self at all. Maybe you're worried because you came across rude because you just sat there and you actually don't want to speak. Maybe you've avoided answering a question, and all of those things can actually lead to a lot of guilt and self-hate, all of those feelings. So yeah, I think now when it's the Christmas period, like I'm actually really looking forward to it, and hand on my heart, I really don't think about my speech anymore. I really don't, like in those situations, because what I've done over the time, it doesn't happen overnight, but over time you become a lot more open and a lot more self-acceptant about who you are, and you want to talk about it and show people. So I've actually managed to make my environment really supportive to where my family know more about my speech, which is, I don't feel that sense of isolation that I did anymore. And I really don't think about my speech because now I've got the tools to know that I can get through any word, sound or situation.
Awesome. I'm smiling because I can totally relate to all of that. And as we've talked about, one of the best things about the program is we're coming to a group of people who know exactly what you're going through. So great to hear, Amy.
We slightly lost you again a little bit there, Lokesh, or I certainly did. But no, that's absolutely. It's been really good to have you on, and I know we've all got things on at 8:30, so I'm aware that in 5 minutes' time, I don't know about Amy, but me and Lokesh have something important, Amy. But thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's really good, especially so close to Christmas. I don't know how John Mendoza got on here, but it's great that you've put a comment on here that you've been able to watch tonight, John, and you're Audio McGuire member, which is great. You still face challenges, but my life has completely changed for the better. I think that's a really, really big thing. You know, it's not just those. The McGuire program really helps you with big speaking challenges like public speaking and speaking at weddings or whatever it might be. But it's those small things, being able to order what you want in a shop or order a coffee or whatever, just things that people take for granted, that people that stammer really, really struggle with, you know. And so, yeah, this can help anyone and any of you out there. So thank you, Amy and Mukesh, very much. And we'll call that a day. Have a great Christmas, everybody. Thank you.
Merry
Cheers, Matt.
Christmas.
Take care, all.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.